another live stream with My Wildlife. It has been a long time. It's been almost a week. This is the longest gap we've had between streaming in a while. My wife is looking at me like I am crazy. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. We are just chilling right now by the lake before we go hang out with the ducks and goats. Knife making, how you doing? Any cool projects on the go? We got the moon in the background there. The moon is peeking up behind the clouds. We're gonna have a beautiful sunset tonight. A little bit of humidity in the air. There was some on and off thunder showers today, so I expect the sky to go nice. Pinks and purples tonight. I think we'll have a lovely sunset. We're probably about an hour away from the actual sunset, but the moon is coming up right there at the tip of my finger. That was pretty quick. That was pretty accurate. The Cookie Eater. How you doing, Cookie Eater? We are just chilling by the water right now. We'll go hang out by the ducks and the goats and the cow and stuff soon. But I figure I would just give you guys a little bit of that lake view. It really does look like a green screen. Cookie Cutter, of course I remember you. Thanks for coming back. I always appreciate when people return to the stream. Or Cookie Eater. Did I say Cutter? Oh, it's a beautiful day, beautiful day. I went for a little walk earlier. It's finally fall time here, so the trees are starting to turn color. We're getting those beautiful yellows. Soon we'll get the reds. It's just a lovely, lovely evening. Like I said, you can see the moon right there. Mud, how you doing? We were just chilling out, enjoying the weather. It's surprisingly warm out for northern Canada. It's we had a couple days of just scorcher heat. Low 80s for us in Canada. That's like high 20s, close to 30 degrees. Just beautifully warm out. Brought some water with me today so I can try to slam this bottle and stay hydrated. Like I said, it's been hot today. Ugh, my hair was all sweaty earlier. Let's make sure we're all set up right. And how has your day been? My day's been good. And it seems like your Cookie Eater, it looks like your font is in like italics. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone's font come in different than the default. It's almost like it's like a bold italics. It's very nice to look at. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Saturday. Jams, how you doing, bud? Let's go hang out closer to the ducks. Give you guys something to look at. I know the view behind me is fantastic, but let's see some duckies. We let the ducks free range, and honestly, I'm surprised I haven't had the ducks in the lake yet. They're in their little kiddie pool right now. Here's some of the ducks. Some of the ducks just chilling. Some of them are in the kiddie pool. Like I said, I'm surprised that I haven't found them actually in the lake yet. I can hear a bunch of howling. That might be my kids though, I don't know. No. Hey, hon. Maximus isn't outside, is he? Maximus isn't outside?
No, why?
I hear a ton of howling. I wanted to make sure it wasn't our kids. I don't know if it's the neighbor's dogs or coyotes. I know, Maximus. Sometimes you sound like a coyote. Rip, Goku. How you doing, buddy? Mud said, had a yard I was in for work that had a good amount of ducks and chickens and 2 to 3 turkeys. It was awesome. What kind of work were you doing that you were in a yard with a bunch of homestead animals? Here's some of the goats. Hello, goats. I'm gonna come in and say hello to you guys, okay? But I need to be able to open the door, so you guys gotta let me in. I'll put my water down. There we go. Hi, goats. Okay, you gotta let me in, and I don't want to let you out. So you let me in. Poor Orion. So the goat's headbutt. Look at his head. He's got a little cut in the top of his head. They headbutt, and he's the only one without horns, so he's losing that battle. These ones are clashing right now. Boom. Okay, guys, careful around me. If you're gonna Dukes of Hazzard it out on me. I want my water though, goats. I want my water. I don't want to get caught up in your little goat fight. There we go. There we go, goats. And Gabby. Got Gabby out in the other field. Way over there. There's Gabby. There's Gabby. Mr. Tenna, how you doing? Your initial message I thought it was just a chirp. What are you guys doing? What? Hey, okay, you're getting a little frisky with it. You don't even have nuts, my boy. Goat's getting frisky and he doesn't even have the bits to do the job. You clean yards for folks. Nice. So I'm assuming that's like, you're talking cutting the grass and weed whacking and fixing up, oh boy, driveways and stuff like that. That's awesome. Mr. Tana says, I have a robot. What kind of robot do you have? I got chickens. Hello, chickens. It's one of our roosters here. Handsome little fella. Some ducks in the background. Of course, my army of goats. My cow is staring at me like I'm crazy. She's out there. She's like, what you guys doing? Crow. You built a robot. What is the purpose of this robot? Let's try to find some nice angles here while we got a nice sunset on the way. Just got to make sure the goats don't knock us over. There we go. Like I said, it's a beautiful day. Yes, sir. That was this guy over here. Letting out a cock-a-doodle-doo. I built a robot that does nothing. I'm sorry, Mr. Tenna, but that doesn't sound like a very fun robot. Oh. I have not turned it on yet. Oh boy. Hi, Evie. Hello. Okay, buddy. Okay. It's okay. Bro. The goats are in a mood. And Soskek says, yo, how's it going, cowboy? It's going pretty good. Going pretty good. Just chilling with the animals right now. Might go hang out by the lake again. The lake was a nice view. And Mr. Tenna says, I don't know if my robot is deadly. Was it designed with machine guns in mind? Okay, goats, I want you guys to stay. You're gonna stay. You guys are gonna stay. So I was using an elastic, bungee cord right here. So I was using a bungee cord through a little hole here. But as the bungee cord gets weaker, the goats, they'll get their head in there and they'll pop it off. They get smart. The bungee cord worked for like a year and then they figured out, no, she wants to jump up. No. They figured out how to pop the bungee cord off, so now it's obsolete. So we went with some paracord on a clasp. Obviously paracord doesn't stretch, so that should do quite well as long as my knot holds. Hey girl. Hey Evie. Hello Evie. Give her some chin scratches. And so Skik says, dang, bro, that place looks awesome. Thank you. We've got ducks and chickens over there. Of course, the goats. Evie's liking the head scratches. Got the cows. We're gonna go hang out by the water. Let's go get things bumping off here, hanging out by the lake. Beautiful view tonight. The water is crystal clear. My dog is somewhere MIA. The goats are adorable. So are the ducks and the chickens. I mean, I got a chicken on this fencing right here, which is 2 chickens on the fencing. They're just chilling. Just chilling. I am in northern Canada. So we are in Canada. I've got a 156 acre peninsula here. So this lake goes all the way around the property. I'm off grid. So yeah, it's really my own little piece of paradise, nice and private. Streaming from the Starlink. We got the moon over there. Beautiful lake behind us. And you are also in Canada. Well, hello, fellow Canadian. And Matthew is saying hi to the chat. Hey, Matthew, how you doing, buddy? Hope everyone is having a fantastic night. You are in the south. Does that mean you are in southern Ontario? Down by Toronto? Maybe in Hamilton? Or are you a Kitchener-Waterloo kind of person? So Skek, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Everyone, let's give that a like and a heart. Some seed for the chickens. I think that means we got to go give them a treat. Let's go give the chickens a treat for you. Thank you. And Matthew says, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I've seen my mom and my son today. Nice. Nice. Glad you could take advantage of a beautiful day, and I hope where you are and you're able to see your family. Let's go give the chickens a treat. There we go. This got all balled up. I try to use paracords and latches on everything because the goats are really good at getting into fencing. The goats are fantastic little fence. Okay. Let's grab some grain. We'll get a little bit for the goats and a little bit for the chickens. Okay, let's sneak through here. Hello, chickens and ducks. Oh, and all the goats are coming rushing over. Okay. Okay, a little bit for these guys. Hi, guys. Here. Here. Let's give you some right here. Okay. I really don't want you guys busting through the fence though. So we're gonna throw a couple handfuls over the fence. Over the fence. You guys go get it over there. Oh boy. Over there, guys. Chickens. Here, chickens. You want some treats? You gonna eat some treats? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. The goats really want it. Here you go, bud. That's how you can tell my chickens aren't starved for food. I throw them down some grain and they look at me like I'm crazy. But the goats are going berserk. We got a couple chickens. The rooster's enjoying some over there. Here, guys. Have at her. The chickens want it, they can come out and get it. And Mr. Tennis says, can hear you not as a treat. Patricia says hi. Soskek says, you're actually the best, man. Thank you, Soskek. I appreciate you. And thank you again for that dono. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Mr. Tennis says, it can hear you as not in a treat. I'm still lost at the meaning of this sentence, but that is okay. Threat. There you go. It can hear you as not a threat. Oh boy. Oh boy. There's some clashing going on over there. And Happy Pap says, Jesus Christ is Lord. Unfortunately, my wife went to, she had to attend a funeral today. One of our friends, their brother is a pastor, and he passed away suddenly. And so to show support for the family, she went to that funeral today. And I stayed home with the kids, and it's all the rage right now. So I've got 5 sons, and so we stayed home, and we were blasting Skibbity Toilet and Skibbity Minecraft and all the skibbities while they were jumping on the trampoline and having a jolly good day. Happy, this is Northern Canada. What's on your finger? Just some white powder. Probably, I presume, from whatever my wife had in this bucket. Probably some diatomaceous earth, some DE, diatomaceous earth. And Solskjaer says, Mr. Tenna, yes, not the only one having a stroke, trying to read what you're saying. I was, autocorrect. I was struggling. I gave it 3 solid efforts. I know, just a typo. Some of the chickens, so if you guys will notice, for those who are new to this live stream, welcome. But I've got 156 acres. I've got about 30 acres of pasture fields, all this back in here. And then I've got, of course, the lake over here. And the lake goes all the way around the property. And I'm off-grid. And I've got this little area fenced in. And it's not to keep the chickens and ducks out because, or, you know, in this area. As you can see, I got chickens wandering around. The chickens can fly over the fence and the ducks can sneak through the fence. So they do free range. The fencing is to keep the goats out of here. This way I can leave the door open. And the reason for that is because the chickens' food that I have out here, so the chickens' food, I leave it on the ground. The goats will try to get in there. If I let the goats in this area, the goats will try to get in there and they'll try to eat it. And chicken food contains protein in the form of soy, and goats can't digest that. They're ruminids, grass eaters. They can't digest that soy very well, and so they get bloated and diarrhea, and they get unwell. And so that's why I want to keep them out. What I would initially, before I fence this in, I'd have to monitor this area like a hawk when I was letting the chickens back in, because the goats would try to sneak in there as well. And so now I can leave the door open. They can come and go as they want. And yeah, is the lake a property? So up here in Canada, the lake is considered public access. So anyone can come on the lake, anyone can use the lake. They just can't enter onto my land, but they can use the water. My property line actually goes quite a ways into the water because at one point this bay was shallower, but then there was a dam added way away from here, and that dam raised the water level up. So if the dam ever lets go, I'm gonna have a lot more land out there, but otherwise, public access. And Happy says, do your animals play hockey? Not yet, but maybe this year. One of the chickens is letting out a crazy howl. Maybe I'll take the goats playing hockey this year. I usually make a rink out there on the lake, and so we will see. We will see if we can get the chickens playing hockey. Let's set this feed bucket down because there's no reason to keep holding it. And Lori says, hi. Hi, Lori. How you doing? Matthew says, everything is changed. The surrounding the door of the chickens and so much more. I did move stuff around a little bit, and my father-in-law came down and helped me build this insulated coop. So this is not fully done yet, but it is an insulated coop for the chickens. So I need to build a door, and I need to insulate the inner back walls. I also need to add some perches for the chickens, but yes, my father-in-law came down and did a fantastic job building that out. And then we need to, you know, I'm not fully sold on the placement of this. Like the way I have this right now, the snow, when the snow comes, it's just going to sit against the building here. So what I'll probably do is rotate this chicken coop 90 degrees so that they're both facing the same way. That way all the snow is coming off backwards this way. I also have to put the tin roofing on still. But for those who are new here, I had spinal surgery just over 5 weeks ago. And so I'm on light duty right now. I meet with my surgeon next Friday. And so hopefully he gives me the green light to start doing more and books me in with a physiotherapist to start moving around, stretching these old bones. But yeah, for now, I'm kind of doing everything with help. Eric Griffin, welcome back to the chat. Eric is a longtime subscriber, and I appreciate you coming in and saying hi. Nightpot says, nice shower helmet. Thank you. Thank you. It's a cowboy hat, not a poncho hat, but it does the job. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday, guys. You know what, guys? I appreciate you guys being here and coming in and saying hi and spending some time with me. Every once in a while, I will cruise the live streams and see what's going on. And there is a lot of crazy stuff on here. The other day, I was watching some clown dude who filed his teeth down and was shoving straws up his nose. So you guys could be out there watching that, but instead you choose to hang out on the farm with me. And I appreciate you guys for that. So thank you. Thank you for hanging out on the homestead. In about 2 weeks, so 2 weeks time, next week is Canadian Thanksgiving. The weekend after that, we are getting 2 donkeys. I'm gonna show you guys the donkeys. We ended up buying both of them. So, oh, this was the dude. This is the dude you guys could be spending your time with, but let's get away from that guy. You could be spending your time with him, but instead you're with me, so I appreciate you guys. We have bought these 2 donkeys. This one here, her name is Georgia, and she's pregnant. This one here is Ginny, who is not pregnant. They're about 3 years apiece. And so we got these 2 donkeys coming in about 2 weeks' time. So expect a lot of videos. This is going to be our first time doing donkeys. Our plan with the donkeys, Canada has Thanksgiving. Yes, it's just a month earlier than your guys. Boughton, yes, we have bought the donkeys. Another farm, they had bought these 2 donkeys with the idea that they were both pregnant. Turns out only one of them was pregnant, not the other. And so they didn't, their whole goal was to buy the 2 of them that were already supposed to be bred and pregnant, sell the babies, keep the donkeys. But they didn't want to, maintain the expense of having these 2 donkeys if they weren't going to have the 2 babies to pay them back. So they're selling them off to recoup their costs, and we are rehousing them. Mud said, I seen that guy and told YouTube to not recommend this video. Weird stuff on here. Yeah, man, that clown guy was freaky. And Pig Vomit says, is Canada Thanksgiving the same as American Thanksgiving? It's the same concept. It's basically the same thing, giving thanks for what you have and for the land and the harvest. Up here in Canada, it takes place a month sooner because it's colder. And so our fall harvest is a lot sooner than your guys' fall harvest. So it makes sense that our Thanksgiving is a little bit before yours. And then, it's a statutory holiday. People get the day off of work. My wife and kids are gonna go to their family's house. Her parents live quite a ways away from us, so they're gonna do a road trip, spend a few days down there, and then I'm gonna stay here maintaining the farm while they're gone. And so expect, that's next weekend. So expect lots of live streams next weekend. I plan to be streaming probably Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, probably Monday morning as well. So expect back-to-back streams next weekend. Nightpot says, almost a pig, except we wrap our turkeys in Canadian bacon. I think I missed the first half of that. But you are in Alberta. Nice. Yes, we just got our pigs back from the butcher. Actually, we did 4 pigs. I gave 1 to my parents, 1 to my in-laws, and then we kept 2 for ourselves. And Matthew says, I've seen him. He's so nasty, that clown guy. And Pig Vomit says, American Thanksgiving is in the end of November. Happy says, Jesus chose to ride a donkey, not a horse. There's a reason. So here's the thing. They say nowadays, they recommend nowadays that you don't want to put more on a donkey than about 20 to 30% of their body weight. So if a donkey is around 500-600 pounds, tops that they can carry is like 150, 175 pounds. Now, there's different types of donkeys. That's a standard donkey. I'm also quoting more of a Ginny, the females we're getting. So maybe it was a larger male donkey, but either Jesus was really light or that donkey was doing some work. And Mr. Tennis says, what is your favorite music genre? Mine is country and classical jazz. Oh boy, I would say probably contemporary classic rock. Think Linkin Park, Sum 41, that kind of stuff. I'm a product of the 90s, and so that was the stuff I grew up on, and I still listen to it today. Controversial opinion, the new girl who is doing Linkin Park's lead singer, replacing Chester, she's fantastic. I really like her. I think that she nails the sound. I think their album was a banger, and yeah. And yes, thanks for timing him out, Matthew. Happy says, Jesus was as fit as a fiddle, walked 40 miles regularly. That's the thing. He also could have just been super lean, carpenter, and obviously a traveling prophet. So, you know, he did travel all throughout the Middle East. Let's say he was 140 pounds, but built like a UFC fighter. And Mr. Tennis says, that is a good genre. Chevy, welcome back to the chat, Chevy. Chevy says hi. And Ernie's cabin says, beautiful weather. Hope it sticks around. Nice. You got 2 donkeys. They can hang together. Yeah, initially we were only going to get the 1 donkey due to budgeting and just thinking about the money. Like, to put this in perspective, guys, these donkeys that I'm getting, the one was 2,500 pounds. They wanted 2,500 pounds. $2,500. They wanted 3,500 for the pregnant one. We ended up talking them down a bit, so we got a deal on the 2. But, you know, you're already looking at, you know, $6,000. And then we are also buying 2 cows, 2 heifers this month. And so we're getting 2 more cows to go along with the cow we already have. And that's another $3,000 a piece, roughly. So it's going to be in a very expensive month. So I was not going to get the pregnant one because of that, but I got talked into it, and someone actually gave us a very large donation towards that, and so it just made sense. And like you said, Ernie, you want to keep them together. Donkeys do like companionship. They kind of bond together. They don't like being alone, and so they're going to be happier overall. Plus, the one is pregnant, so we will have a baby foal in next spring, summer. So that's pretty cool too. And Matthew says, what's a fiddle? A fiddle is a violin, just played in a different style. Mr. Tenna says, you're a cool dude. Thank you, Tenna. Happy says, show the moon over the pine trees. There you go. The moon is, she's looking pretty bright tonight. If it wasn't cloudy, we would have, hey, Georgia and Darlene, how are you guys doing? Georgia, we were just talking about the donkey named Georgia. Let's throw it up on the screen one more time. I know that we've got a beautiful view here, but let's find our donkey named Georgia. So this one here is Georgia, who's pregnant, and this is Ginny, who is not pregnant. And so we are going to get these 2 in about 2 weeks' time. But let's get off the green screen and enjoy the view. The ducks are starting to put themselves away for bed. They're slowly gathering into their little house. So are the chickens, but the ducks are waddling their way into the Waddle Inn for the night. This is the Waddle Inn, a log cabin that I built last year for the ducks. And let's keep you guys with the lake view for now. And Delcy says, how much is it to feed 1 donkey? Donkeys actually don't eat that much. Donkeys eat less than cows, and they're grazers. In fact, you have to kind of restrict how much they eat because they can get fat and bloat really easily. Think about donkeys and their origin. Donkeys are used to a desert climate. So when you give donkeys, you know, forests and forests of sweet grass, acres and acres of sweet grass, they will get a little bit fat. And so, yeah, you actually, they're very cheap to feed. And Maria Backcountry says, oh, nice, I get the lake view. Yes, I'm trying to keep the moon in it as well. Georgia says, I am so happy for you. She's just as cute as me, but I'm not pregnant. King Cash says, I'm done with your sorry Pukakis. Let's get him out of here then. We don't need you. UFC is on. Who's fighting tonight, Shane? Happy says, is there a duck leader? Yes, although right now the duck leader is one of the Buff Orpingtons, the Drake. He's the biggest, baddest mofo out there. I'll see if I can see him in here. I don't want to scare them all right back out as they're trying to settle in for the night, but hey guys, it's okay. Let's flip you guys around. Turn on the flash. So this guy here is the leader of the pack. That's the boy. That's the Drake. That's Big Daddy himself. I could tell because I've only got 3 Buff Orpingtons, the tan ones, 1, 2, 3. But the male has the darker head. It's a 2-tone color. It's a change in color on the head. So yeah, ducks. And Carla, let's close the door and let these guys rest. Oh boy, guys, there you go. Here's the rooster. Carla said, "Do you eat the duck eggs? I think they taste better than chicken eggs." Yes, we do, and they do. They're big. They both taste fantastic, but duck eggs are bigger, and so it's hard not to like it. There's a chicken up there. Hello, chicken. You gonna come down? You want to come down? Do you want to come down? You want a hand? Oh boy. That was like crazy aim. You just flew right into everybody. Well, hello guys. You guys got taken out by a chicken. Let's spin you guys around again. We're losing sunlight fast. We are losing light fast, my friends. I gotta tighten up the tripod after that doozy. So, I'm getting an iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I need to make sure I order a beefy case because you never know when a duck or a chicken or a goat is gonna knock that over. Let's grab a highlight. Was that good on your guys? For you guys, was that a good angle? I couldn't tell, you know, but that was quite a thing. That was awesome. Hopefully I caught that and I can slow that down. Hopefully we got that in a good angle. Darlene says, "Ha." And there's still one more getting ready to bed up there, but I'll let him. Safe enough. I don't know. We'll see. I might usher him into the house later. We'll see. We are going to, all the ducks are put away. So this is my little latchy system. So we're gonna latch this up since all these guys are tucked away for the night. Nice and simple latching system. I made sure when I built this door to rip some of the logs to attach to it, so it kind of keeps that log house feel. And Mr. Tana says, "I'm sorry for asking, but can I be an admin?" You know what, buddy? I try to keep it relatively limited. If you come around lots and we see you hanging out lots and you're showing support for the chat, we will definitely think about it in the future. But for now, I try to keep my mods a little bit limited to our friends like Matthew, who have been with us for a long time. I've had some issues. Sorry guys, we're in the dark now. I'm trying to get out here and get towards the light. We've had some issues with some drama with moderators in the past. And so I'm trying to avoid that happening again. We're gonna hang out by the lake and enjoy that moon. I was expecting to see some purples in the sky, but we haven't seen much. I think it's gonna be a pretty chill and just dark sunset. KJ says, "I'm back." How you doing, KJ? Welcome back. Long time no see, but I see you chatting in all the other videos, and I appreciate you for checking out the content. Trying to see where I could get some light. We're losing light, my friends. There we go. But we got a beautiful moon. Looks like a plane had flown past it. And Maria says, "It was perfect. The chicken likes to get the paparazzi out of here." Delcy says, "Aren't you afraid of wild animals will break in and kill your ducks?" Yes, but I do. So there's a couple things to that. One, my dog does stay outside, and so she's really good overnight chasing away any foxes. Our biggest predator right now is the foxes. During the winter, we got to deal with wolves and coyotes. Right now, it's just the foxes. And so it's also one of the big reasons that we are getting these 2 donkeys is that they will help scare away. Donkeys make a ton of noise, so they're going to help scare away any predators. And they're also actually pretty aggressive to predators. One of our friends has a male donkey who will hunt foxes. So that's the main reason we're getting the donkeys, a protector animal. I do plan to saddle them and train them for the kids to ride. So that's the plan. We're gonna halter train them, and yeah. And Matthew says, Mr. Tenna, you can start by greeting people and start to show that you're reliable in the YouTube channel. And Delcy says, sounds good, thank you. No problem. I am so used to streaming all summer where we've had beautiful sunlight. Up here in Northern Canada, in our summers, it stays sunny till almost 11 o'clock at night in the middle of the summer. Our winters are very, very dark. And so I'm used to streaming when we got better lighting. Let's see if we can crank this up a little bit. Let's see if we get it a little bit brighter for you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust. Normally what I do for my winter streams, guys, obviously I had spinal surgery, so I'm not as, I don't know if I'll be as active on the axe. We'll see how I'm healing and what the surgeon says on Friday. But normally I'm out here splitting wood with a spotlight. So that way when it's pitch black, I can still be out here splitting wood while I live stream. And KJ says, what is your name? It is Justin. As Matthew says, it is Justin. We are hanging out by the lake here right now. And that moon lake view is great. I will try to keep it that way. The lighting is also better this way right now. And Ruby says, watching your lobster mushroom video. I've got a few good mushroom videos, guys. Go check them out if you're interested in foraging. There's a lot of really good edible mushrooms to be found in the forest. I recommend starting watching some videos and get to learn some. Fun fact, my favorite way to discover new edible mushrooms right now, beyond the ones I already knew about, is if you take a couple photos of the mushrooms on the ground and then pick them up and flip them upside down and stuff, get the gills, get everything. Run that through the Google app, the images, use the AI reverse image search, and that'll get you a starting point. I always recommend getting some local foraging books, so some local edible mushroom guides books from the bookstore, library, and then compare what Google says. Now, obviously, if Google says this is the Himalayan chanterelle and you're not in the Himalayas, it's wrong. But if it confirms what you already thought, then it jump starts the search. Instead of looking through 1,000 mushrooms, it narrows it down quite a bit. And Mr. Tennis says, do you like dirt bikes? Yes, I used to ride lots when I was a kid, and I have 2 dirt bikes for my kids. I used to be big into motorcycling. So my first motorcycle was a Kawasaki KLR 250 on-road, off-road dirt bike. And so that one was street legal, but it killed me on insurance. I would think I was paying about $3,500 a year on that bike before switching to the Kawasaki Ninja. And Maria Backcountry says, I didn't know that about donkeys until watching your streams. And I live in an area where every other farmer has one. I just figured people liked them and never looked into it. They're great. I mean, dogs are also good protector animals, you know, livestock guardian dogs. Hi, Lily. Lily here caught a mouse earlier and she was very proud. She was very proud to have a mouse in her mouth. Lily, sit. Oh, yes, Lily, you're a good girl. You're a good little mouser. But she also did catch and kill a weasel a couple weeks back. She managed to get rid of a weasel. Good girl, Lily. But, you know, we don't want her getting hurt. So if coyotes or wolves come around, we don't want to lose her. Whereas the donkey will protect even her. And I think I'm going to sneak you guys over towards the garage so we can have a little bit of light. We need some light. I'd like to keep streaming for at least an hour. We're only at 40 minutes, but we need some light. It is dark. Let's go turn on the outside lights. Got a couple kid quads here, ATVs as well. My skid steer. Here's the kids quads. Playing around on the skid steer earlier, cleaning up the driveway a bit. Lily, don't go too far. Let's turn on a light for us. There we go. It's a little better, guys. We can still keep the moon back there. And now we got some light. I live off grid, so it's a really big deal that I'm turning the lights on to stream with you guys. I normally will just let it get dark, but we need good quality live streams. Holding my water now, it looks like a beer, so we're gonna put that down because it is not. I actually don't drink anymore. And Happy said, crazy high insurance. Yeah, my insurance was insane on that first enduro. By the time I sold my sports bike, I was only paying about $650 a year, but the bike was worth a lot of money. It was in really good condition, and I was storing it in my garage. Basically, when I had my first son, I didn't want to ride as much anymore. You know, there's an inherent risk to owning and riding a motorcycle, and honestly, it was for fun. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure craft, right? A sports bike. I don't have big saddlebags on it. It's not like I could take it for big long distance cruises because I couldn't pack any luggage with me. I also couldn't ride it for 6 months of the year because up here in Canada, there's so much snow and it's cold. And so I ended up selling it when I had my son because I figured couldn't use it that much and it wasn't worth the risk. And so I took the money and I actually rented a machine and ordered in a few loads of sand. And at my last house, I built him a beach so that my kid could play on the beach. And it was like a nice sentimental moment of like, I'm gonna sell the motorcycle, take the money, build you a beach. And it was kind of like trading that side of my life for the new, you know, living with my child. It was a really sweet moment. Mr. Tenna says, I was really bored, but you made my day. Well, thank you for joining us, Tenna. And Happy says, get that moon back in the shot. There we are. And Matthew says, I myself live in the province of Quebec City, Quebecois. Georgia says, hey, Justin, have a good night. I'm at camp and the Starlink is brutal tonight. You keep buffering. Oh, you know what? That might have been. And Carter says, how y'all doing? Doing well, man. And KJ says, the best channel ever. Happy says, smart move. And nice. Moon over the trees. You can't quite see the lake as well here, but the sun's setting and it's a trade-off. Either you get a dark gray lake or a little bit of light and my beautiful face. I am due to shave my neck at least. I gotta clean up a little bit. I'm really scraggly today. But, you know, as a dude, I don't mind as much what I look like when I come streaming. It's not like I gotta do my makeup and get all pretty for you guys. I think you guys will understand. I do have a sea can over here. A sea can. So I got this hauled to my property a few weeks ago, and then just on Friday I moved it into position. And so the plan here is that next year I'm going to turn it into a barn. And so I'm going to build a roof off of this side for dry storage, so I can put all my firewood along here and then all the toys, the skid steer and the quads and the dirt bikes, all that stuff. Then the other side of it I'm going to turn into pens, individual pens for the donkeys and the goats and the cow. Right now they all share, sorry, eating bugs. They all share a communal space in the barn, but I would like them to have individual spaces. My one goat is very pregnant right now. She's gonna have her babies any day now. And so I'm gonna start moving her into a separate spot of my barn, just so she's away from the other animals. But it would be nice if they each had their own pens that they could go to at night, so I don't have to, you know, worry about trying to sort through them when they're having their babies. And Marissa says, what's the temperature there? You're wearing a t-shirt. It's actually super hot up here in Canada today. It is, right now it's probably about 21 degrees. During the day it was like 27 degrees Celsius, like 84, somewhere around there, 82 Fahrenheit. And Delcy Lopez says, I live in, is that Georgia? You live peacefully far from neighbors. My closest neighbor's about 3 miles away. And they're lovely people. They're lovely people. But we're the only two people kind of in the area. And it's nice that way. And Happy says, nice. How old are you to have life so put together? I am 33 years old. Destiny says, we own little over an acre here in Canada. Nice. This property here is 156 acres. And it's a peninsula. So the lake behind us goes all the way around the property. And Maria says, can't wait for baby goats. Any day now. Any day now. I was thinking closer to middle of October, but looking at her today, she's starting to show signs that really any day now, she's starting to look like swollen and any day now, any day now. Drunken Donut says, huge fan. How are you? Drunken Donuts. I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? And my favorite movie is Brokeback Mountain. Honestly, I get asked, you know, I get these comments all the time, but I've never even seen the movie. I've never seen Brokeback Mountain. Splodgy says, I'll come to you from India for marriage ceremony. Are you trying to marry me or you want to be a part of a marriage? I'm confused. And oh, Matthew. Alaska Critter Cam wasn't trying to be inappropriate with that. The peach was because peaches grow down in Georgia. It wasn't sexual, Matthew. That was the other person says they live in Georgia, and that wasn't the emoji wasn't as it sounded, my friend. Mr. Tenna says, I would give you $2, but I'm broke as a day. It's okay, Mr. Tenna. You do not need to donate. Don't worry about it. Drunken Donut says, I apologize. I tried to come with new material, but it's been done before. I'm embarrassed. I'm being serious. It's okay, Drunken Donuts. It's all good, my friend. And Matthew, it's okay. Sorry, Critter Cam. Delcy says, I love donkeys because they have great personalities and a cross on their backs. They have a cross on their backs? I feel like this I do not know. These guys, I don't think they've got a... Oh. Geez. I'm slow tonight. If you say they have a cross on their backs, are you saying because they carried Jesus? Or are you saying for religious reasons? Because I don't see it. I was thinking there was like a special hairline. And that went over my head. That went over my head. Carter says, met that horse I was talking about, and he's pretty nice and well trained, but I'm going to look further into it. I mean, it's a lot of money. Horses are very expensive. These donkeys are expensive, so we're getting both of them. I don't know if I had said that last time we were talking, Carter, but we decided to get both of them. We were only going to get the one donkey. Now we're getting both of them. You know, just under $6,000. Probably just over by the time I go get them because, you know, I got to go get them. But, yeah, it is what it is. And, trying to keep up with you guys. Matthew says, you can change the timeout, give him 10 seconds. I don't think I can. At least not on computer, Matthew. I can't click on that timeout. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And sorry guys, let me catch up with you guys. Happy says, yes, donkeys have hairline cross. Also, yes, because of Jesus. Jesus Christ is Lord. Drunken says, have you ever been donkey punched? Now, friend. And Carter said, oh, nice. Good deal. They are expensive. Yes. Happy's like, what? And Delcy says, yes, a hairline cross. Okay, so maybe I'm not slow. And Matthew says, yes, on the phone. He's going to be back in 4 minutes. 18 says, haven't seen you in a minute, friend. Hope you are doing well. Thank you. I am doing pretty good. I was just saying how we are getting 2 donkeys in a couple weeks, just after Canadian Thanksgiving. These guys, we're going to get both of them. This one is pregnant. And so this one is going to have a baby foal in the spring, maybe summer. I got to confirm exactly when it's due. But yes, this one is confirmed pregnant by a vet. This one was supposed to be pregnant. She is not, but that's okay. That's okay. So we're going to get both of them. And yeah, that's the plan. And then down the road, probably next year, we'll try to breed them again, at least the one who's not pregnant, to try to get, maybe if I stagger them each year, we can try to get some babies out of these donkeys. And KJ says, hey, Justin, I'm going to go. I'm on the phone with my friends. Bye. See you later, KJ. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you coming in and saying hi. 18 says, that is cool. And Mr. Tenna says, I don't know why, but do you want the name of my robot? Mr. Tenna, give us the name of the robot. You also have to tell me what it does. I know you said you haven't turned it on, but what's it supposed to do? A robot is controlled by software, and the software has to tell it what to do. Is it a humanoid robot? Is this like a BattleBots? Is this a vacuum? What is the robot? Delcy says, teach your donkey to talk just like in the Bible. God made a donkey talk. I mean, I definitely hope they say a lot of eons. Mary Backcountry says, how long are donkeys pregnant for? Donkeys have between an 11-month and 13-month gestation, 12 months, a year. And then the baby stays with the mom for about 6 months. So yeah, a year and a half between breeding cycles. It's quite a while. And Russell says, is that a full moon? You know what? It's a hair shy, but it's pretty dang close. It's close enough. How you doing, Russell? Drunken Donut says, have you ever gone down the slide in the back left corner? Absolutely. I used to set it up going into the lake. I also have a bigger one. You can't really see it. Oh boy. I also, we'll take a little walk. I've got a bigger one that I don't know if I have gone down it. It's a curly slide. I might have went down it the first time I put it together and got stuck. Oh boy, we got to spin you guys around. The night vision is not working. There you go. We got this guy here. Come on, Lily. I hear Lily in the bushes. We got this little slide. Lily's somewhere by the sailboat. Lily, come on up, Lil. And let me get stationary. When it's dark like this, it's really hard to read the screen while I walk. Come here, Lil. Come here, Lily. Come here, Lily Beans. There you are, Lily. And Maria says, I am learning so much about donkeys. Alaska Critter Cam, welcome back. And yeah, Alaska Critter Cam, sorry, Matthew's mind was in the gutter. And when he saw that peach, he thought you were talking about the different kind of peaches. But anyway, Carter says, oh, nice. Now that we are bringing it up, I used to program the rock fire explosion animatronics. Nice. Did Mr. Tenna tell us about his robot yet? I don't think he has. I don't see it. I'm scrolling. Wait. Its name is Bummy the Bunny. It has a mind of its own. Oh boy. You're trying to do Five Nights in Freddy's. You're going to make a whole set of animatrons, aren't you? And Carter's 18 says, are you looking to breed donkeys for grazing your property? I'll probably breed the donkeys for resale. So they will graze the property, but I've got goats and cows for the fields. The donkeys are there for the protection animal. In the winter, we have to deal with coyotes and wolves. Thankfully, we haven't lost any animals to that. We've lost a couple ducks and chickens over time to foxes. The coyotes have been up on the property. I've caught them right by the ducks on the trail cam, and we've seen the wolves out on the lake here. So they're definitely a problem. The coyote and the wolves, they could definitely deal with my dog, whereas the foxes, Lily's pretty good at chasing them away. In the winter, when it's really cold, up here in northern Canada, it gets down to around minus 45 degrees in the winter. And at that temperature, it's just too dang cold. I don't leave my dog outside. I let her come in for the night. And then the animals are without protection. Last year, I lost a few ducks. And every time I lost ducks, it was because it was one of those minus 40-degree nights and I had the dog in the house. The rest of the year, she's outside and she does a really good job keeping them away. The donkeys will be outside all year round. And so I expect them to keep the chickens and ducks nice and safe. Donkeys, they're great. They make a lot of noise. They're good at, you know, getting rid of predators, and even with smaller predators like foxes, the donkeys can hunt them down. So hopefully they do their job. Carter says, oh, good. You have, okay, wait. Let me make sure I am, let me make sure I am in the right spot here. Triple Taco says, can you please sit still? I'm so close. Oh boy, Triple. Oh boy, Triple. Duncan says, how many cows? Right now, I only have one. I've had a total of 3. I'm getting 2 more this month. So we're going to be back up to 3. My current one is pregnant. She is a Black Angus. And the other 2 I'm getting are both Shorthorns. And Happy says, any UFOs? Every once in a while, I see some crazy space debris just go crazy in the sky. It's cloudy tonight, so I don't expect to see much. I do see a couple stars out in the distance. The camera won't pick them up, but it's cloudy behind me, so I doubt it's going to be a starry night tonight. But I'm always, you know what? I spend a lot of time. If I wake up at 2 in the morning, I'll come out on the deck. Because I'm off grid, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's no cities, no lights. There's zero light pollution. And so in the middle of the night, when you get out here and you just look at the sky, I can see the Milky Way down the center of the skyline. We get the northern lights, millions of stars. It's really beautiful. It's really fascinating. So when it is not a cloudy night, I love spending nights looking out at the skies. And Mr. Tennis says, I don't know if it's deadly, but I'm praying it's not the deadly rabbit robot. Drunken says, nice. I will make jokes, Matthew, but I'm actually interested. This is interesting. Could you use donkeys to protect chickens? Yes, like they'll be in the general area of the chickens and the ducks, and so they are going to be good protectors. You do have to watch with male donkeys. So the two I'm getting are both female. Male donkeys are even more aggressive, and sometimes they will go after your goats. I'm going to socialize them all together. What I'll probably do is I'll probably put the two donkeys, lock them in the barn for about a week or two, and spend time with them every single day. Get them used to me, get them used to the other animals, and then we can let them, you know, more freedom. I'm going to have to train them to electric fencing. I need to talk to the current owner and see if they've ever tried using electric fencing with the donkeys. Donkeys like to challenge fencing. So the main area I plan to put them in has solid cattle fencing, but I'd like to move them into the back fields, and as long as they become one with the herd of animals, as long as they, you know, get used to us, and I plan to halter train them, I'd like to take them everywhere. I'd like to walk them down the road. I'd like to walk them in the forest, just get them used to spending time with us, just like we do with every animal. Helps that I already have the cow and the goats all herd trained, so they all come right up with me. Waylon says, where are you, sir? We are in northern Canada. Drunken said, Matthew, I was saying that I like to make jokes, but I'm actually interested in what he's saying. Yes, Matthew, you missed the part where he came in with the Brokeback Mountain comments, but Carter says, that's some Tenna type of thing? Russell says, do you have lives when skies are clear? Yes. So we're just now coming back into winter. I normally do these live streams all winter when it's dark like this, usually splitting firewood. I don't know how well this iPhone picks up the night sky. It's not great, but I'm upgrading to an iPhone 17 Pro Max here soon. I've already ordered it. And so that one has an 8x digital zoom, better cameras. So I'm hoping maybe that'll help us pick up the night sky a little better. Because it is certainly beautiful when the stars come out. And funny and insightful, welcome back to the chat, my friend. The beard is back, baby. It's coming. It's coming. I'm due for a trim, though. The sides take so much longer to catch up to the rest. So I need to trim this up. I can almost curl the mustaches out. We're getting close. But I do need to trim up a little bit. Tomorrow's job. Tomorrow before church, we'll trim the beard. Drunken says, so I've heard this, that duck eggs are very expensive. Have you ever thought about raising them? I do have ducks. I do have the eggs. Currently we eat them. We sell the chicken eggs for $5 a dozen and the duck eggs for $7 a dozen. So we get $2 a dozen more for duck eggs. That's kind of the going rate around here. And Carter says, bro, don't give it legs. Crafty says, sup y'all? Drunken says, that's ridiculous. The earth is flat. Mr. Tennis says, it already does. Alaska Critter Cam says, Duncan. Happy says, do Northern Lights live. If the camera can pick it up, we're going to. Next time I see some nice green Northern Lights, we'll do it. Normally, you don't see them up until about 2, 3 in the morning. So that's a crazy time to do a live stream. But like I said, next weekend is Canadian Thanksgiving. My wife and kids are going to be out of town for visiting with their family for Thanksgiving while I help maintain the farm while I'm home. And so maybe if it's a clear night, we got Northern Lights, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning and I'm awake, I will live stream some Northern Lights for y'all. Jill says, good evening. Welcome back, Jill. How are you doing? Carter says, we are not making it past 2025. Don't say that, Carter. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But if you're really concerned, feel free to donate your life savings to My Wildlife, and you're not gonna need it if the world doesn't work out. Funny and Insightful says, yeah, get that Daniel Day-Lewis look from Gangs of New York. That will be awesome. I will have to check that out. I'm gonna screenshot this so I can check that out afterwards. And do coyotes prey upon your goats? Andy says, they can. They can if they're desperate. It hasn't been an issue yet, but I mean, the goats are also pretty fierce, and I've got 9 of them, and so I feel like as long as they stick together, they'll be okay. But we're getting donkeys, and that will definitely secure it. So the donkeys are going to be clutch for making sure all the animals are safe, and it's no longer a guess or a gamble. It should be a sure thing. Mr. Tennis says, only thing that I need is to connect some wires. It can turn on, but it can't move. Get that animatron working, my friend. Appy says, we'll definitely get past 2025. And what's the traditional Canadian Thanksgiving food? It's the same as America. It's usually a turkey, maybe some ham, mashed potatoes, boiled or fried beans, just a turkey dinner. Out here on our homestead, normally we do either rabbit or chicken because we, butcher our own. But yeah, typical turkey dinner. Carter says, I have one full band of the Rockfire Explosion animatronics band, and I'm offering the gorilla with the piano up if anyone wants to buy. Carter, if you're feeling so inclined, I want to know what this thing is. Should be set up on community posts. You can actually post pictures on my channel, I believe. So if you're feeling up to it, I want to see this animatronic that you're talking about. Post it on our community post. Drunken Donut says, what would be your opinion if they released maybe 10,010 chimpanzees in your neighborhood? I don't know if chimpanzees can survive the winter. So if 10,010 chimpanzees got unleashed in my forest area, I think I just need to wait it out. I think I just need to give it 2 months, and I don't know. Someone Google, what is the coldest temperature that chimpanzees can survive? How cold can chimpanzees survive? Purple King says, do you breed the goats? Yes, we do. We have had several babies born on the homestead. Drunken says, St. Huber's. Mr. Tennis says, Carter, are you in North America? Paul says, not less. Mean last time I was on. Who was mean last time you were on? Like Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. Okay, let me keep up. Duncan says, you live out in nature. Does Bigfoot exist? Absolutely. His name is actually Freddy. Happy says, yum, rabbit. Never had it. Tastes like frog legs? Rabbit tastes like dark meat on a chicken. You know how on a turkey, everyone, most people like the dark meat on the underside. People like it because it's juicier, it's easier to eat. That's the whole thing of a rabbit. An entire rabbit is like the dark meat of a turkey. It's delicious. It's really, really good. What we'll do is we'll slow cook the rabbit, eat the meat one night, and then take the rest of the meat that's left on the bones and the carcass and make a rabbit soup the next day. And you get 2 meals out of it. It's fantastic. My family with 5 sons and the 2 adults, 7 of us, we'll eat 2 rabbits is a meal. 2 rabbits is dinner for us. These are meat rabbits. They're bred to get really big. They're about 5 pounds butchered. And so lots of meat. And Funny and Insightful says, real question, how's your back? Do you have to do follow-ups, and what has the doctor said so far? So I've had 1 follow-up so far. For those who don't know, I had spinal surgery 5 weeks ago. My disc blew out, cut off the feeling to my L5 nerve, and I lost use of my right leg. The follow-up. So I had 1 follow-up. They did some x-rays and CAT scans. Everything was still in line. Everything looked good. Last week I overdid it a little bit. I was feeling good, and so I started doing some work on the barn. It was a bad idea. I ended up being stuck in bed for like 3 days. I'm feeling better now, so hopefully that is done and over with. I see the surgeon again on Friday, and that is when we kind of discuss any physiotherapy and next steps. But more x-rays and images. But so far, other than overdoing it last week, everything feels good. We're doing well. Thank you for asking. And I am missing some stuff here, but Paul says, last time I was on, you talked about donkeys that you were getting to protect the animals on the land. Yes, we are getting 2 donkeys in about 2 weeks. And Mr. Tennis says, oh boy, he's just spamming there. Drunken says, okay, just having fun. He's answering my questions. I'm not doing anything too ridiculous. I understand how to toe the line. You're good, man. You're good. And Matthew says, Carter, what do you mean? Funny says, Drunken? I don't even mod, buddy. Justin gave me the mod just so that others won't time me out. And just to make your name stand out in the crowd, I appreciate your support to the channel. And this way it's easier to, when the chat really gets rolling, it's easier to catch the mods and members' names. Happy says, why back surgery? You're not even 40, brah. So I heard it playing hockey like 13 years ago. It was silly. I wish I could say it was something epic, but basically it was a maneuver I'd done 1,000 times. I got the puck on a breakaway, going clear shot for the net, took a shot at the net, and when I turned to stop, instead of hip checking the boards or skating around it, I stopped kind of diagonally, and my foot caught the corner of the boards where the boards meet the ice, and my back just buckled. I just compressed, and you know, adrenaline was happening. I played the rest of that period, and then left early, and I felt it for sure that night. But and the next day, fun fact: the next day my back was really tight, really locked up, and I thought maybe having a warm bath would help loosen it up. So I hopped in the bathtub. Well, I filled the bathtub up, then I hopped in, and I hopped in with my feet towards the drain. So my back away from the drain, feet towards the drain. I honestly thought I was going to die that day. My back seized up while I was in the bathtub, and I couldn't bend over, and the water was full, and I was lying down in the tub up to my neck, and I couldn't bend forward to pull the drain, and I was just stuck. I was just stuck lying in the tub with the water up to my neck. Eventually, I was able to kind of hold my breath, roll over, get the plug, and open it. But I legitimately had a thought that, like, this is how people die in the tub. This is how it happens. So, yeah, if you hurt your back, don't hop in a bathtub. Not alone, not home alone. That was surprisingly sketchy. Now, after that, about a week I was sore and tender, but then things were fine. I was going to the gym 5 days a week. You know, I was still playing hockey, and I was fine. I was good for like 5 or 6 years. It wasn't until I stopped playing hockey and stopped going to the gym after I graduated university, had my first kid, then my back started getting worse. And over the last 13 years, it's you know, the last 8 years specifically, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse, and to the point where I lost feeling in my leg. So yeah, fun times. Now, before my back blew out, I knew that it had been bad for this last year. I was doing karate with my son last year, and every time after karate, I'd be super stiff and super locked up for like 2-3 days. And so I was hurting for a while. So I knew I had a bad back, and I knew we were getting into firewood season. I heat my house with firewood because I'm off grid. And so I bought this puppy, this skid steer. So I bought this tracked skid steer so that, you know, when I'm doing firewood, I can just lift the logs up, cut them at a good height, move my firewood around without having to muscle it. When I'm doing things like moving gravel around the yard, instead of using wheelbarrows and shovels, I could use the machine. And so that was intended to save my back from blowing out. Unfortunately, the damage had been done and my back blew out anyway. But at least now for the recovery, I got a nice machine. I was playing with it today. And sorry if I missed anything while I was ranting about my spine, guys, but if I missed anything, I'm gonna keep the chat current, but if I missed what you guys are asking, just ask it again. And Funny and Insightful says, yeah, back and spines are one of the most neglected organs / parts of the body. We take those muscles for granted. I know way too many people who play high school football and stuff and hurt themselves for the rest of their lives. And for me, it wasn't worth it. I shouldn't have done it. You know, one of those things, I'd stopped like that. I'd been on a million breakaways, just a one in a million chance, and I blew up my back. It is what it is. One hockey injury. Yeah, it's not even like it was accumulation. It was specifically that one injury. I knew exactly that I'd hurt myself, and when it started coming back and it started acting up again, I was like, It was from that one time. Yeah, it was pretty aggressive. So what they did when my back blew out, they had to do what's called a discectomy. So the disc was bulged out the right side, cutting off the nerve. And so the scary thing was I lost full use of that leg. I was dragging it. Like it was fully dead, fully limp. And so the surgeon wasn't sure if I'd get full recovery in that leg, but they needed to get the disc off of the nerve as fast as they could so that it didn't kill the nerve, so that I didn't lose the leg. And so they went in and they cut out about 30% of the disc, pushed it all back in line. And you know, the nice thing is when I woke up from surgery, I could wiggle my toes, I could feel that leg again. So that was fantastic. The feeling comes, I haven't lost feeling again in a while. Now though, like I went for a walk maybe 4 kilometers today. At about the 2 kilometer mark, I started having a hard time lifting the leg, but I made it there and back. And so it's getting better. Wade says, I fell off a 30-foot cliff when I was 16. Can't wait to see what that did. Well, Wade, I hope that you bounced like a rubber ball and that you'll be okay. When I was a kid, I would climb up on people's houses like to get the football off the roof. Oh boy, you can't see anything, but I'd climb up on a roof, grab a football, and I just jump off the roof. I was super spongy. I felt fine. I used to be a trick snowboarder, so I used to do flips and 720s and all that fun stuff, and all the cliff drops. And I used to just send it. And I had some big fails because I was really bad at spotting a jump or taking it slow. I would just full send. And I had some nasty wipeouts before hurting my back. And it was never a problem. It was never an issue. And then that one injury. And Matthew says, comment, like, and subscribe, guys. It costs nothing and it supports the channel. And Funny and Insightful says, real question number 2. Now that we're 3/4 into the year, do you think that this year was successful personally overall? Did you accomplish everything you wanted, or at least are they on track? Definitely a big backlog. Inside of my trailer here, it's loaded full of siding for the barn. I need to side the barn. I really want to do it. I've got some really nice engineered wood siding in there, so that's got to go up on the barn. Didn't get to that yet. I did get all my hay bales. Most of my firewood is done. I did get the sea can brought to the property, but I was hoping I'd get the sea can sooner, and obviously that I didn't hurt my back, because what I want to do is I've got right now I'm using what's called temporary electric fencing. It's just like, it's like a metal wire string, but it's flexible and it can be broken. I want to replace it. I already have the rolls. I want to replace it with what's called high tensile metal wire. And so that stuff isn't going to just snap. That stuff's really, really strong. So then you get, right now, this is more, the electric fencing I'm using is more of a psychological barrier because the animals don't like getting shocked, but they can push through it. The high tensile fence is both a physical barrier and a psychological barrier. I really wanted to get the permanent fencing up this year. At this point, I'm not going to. We'll wait till next year. So there's a few things I definitely didn't do, but that's homesteading. I would define homesteading as always feeling like you're behind, but feeling rewarded for what you have done. There is always something to do. You're never gonna check off every box on your list, but the check marks you do make are very satisfying and very rewarding. Does that make sense? And Jill says, you must have a high pain tolerance. Yes, now I attribute my high pain tolerance to when I was a child. When I was 14, I had surgeries on both my legs. This is the second time in my life I was told that I might not be able to walk again. When I was 14, I had torn the tendons in my legs and they had to basically cut out some bones and reattach the tendons on both of my legs. I spent 1.5 years on crutches. So yeah, fun story. Hey, hon. Do you have Lily over there, or are the dogs barking the neighbors or Lily? I see my wife, but she can't hear me. Lily! I think there's some coyotes in the area because I heard some howling earlier, and Lily's been really agitated. But I don't want Lily to go too far from the property, and the dogs I'm hearing are way down there. Lily! I just can't tell if that's Lily or neighbor's dogs. Oh, that was Lily. Lily, come. Good girl, Lily. Good girl. You can scare the coyotes, but you got to stay on our property. I don't want you running away. Lily, Lily's a bit of a flight risk. Lily, the other day, my wife went down the driveway and she went to a friend's place, and Lily ended up following her, and she got picked up on the highway and brought like 2 towns over, and so we had to drive like 2 hours to go get her. Yeah, so we ended up getting her back, but thankfully Facebook. But because this is like the 4th time she's done that, and here's the thing. Yes, she's behind me now. Here's the thing with Lily. We live in the country. She is our guardian dog. Like, we leave her outside all night. And so I don't want to start chaining her up. If a wolf, a coyote, or a bear got in the yard while she was chained up, it could unalive her because she can't get away. And so I don't want to chain her up. But when people are coming and going, she's a flight risk. This is the 4th time she's followed a car out to the highway and got picked up by a stranger. So, yeah, I'm always worried when I don't know where she is, or like I heard the barking way down the road, call her back because I don't want her to disappear. And Funny and Insightful had said, maybe you can catch flies with honey than human or animal excrement. You know what I'm saying? Drunken. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. Drunken was saying he will never read any more of my chats. Drunken, I will catch up to you. I'm sorry. When I get on rants, it's really hard to keep up with the chat. I'm sorry. But I'm going to give you guys a chance. Anything I missed, say it again. We are back on chat duty. When I go off on these tangents, talking about my injuries and my history and I'm like in a different dimension, I'm reliving these moments. Paul says, put Lily inside. She's over by the house now. She's at the house. She's good. And Matthew says, I've worked 2.5 days with 2 broken ribs before going to the hospital. I hear you, Matthew. I hear you. I broke this elbow. Silly story. And Mr. Tenna says, I got to go. Bye. Take care, Tenna. Good luck with your robot, my friend. I broke this elbow doing something silly, nothing heroic. I was on my way to the tennis courts to go meet up with a buddy. And I was riding my pedal bike. And instead of having my hands on the handlebars, I had my forearms on the handlebars. And I was just being stupid, being lazy. And I was riding my bike. And I was riding along the curb. So you got the concrete curb. I was riding my bike right beside it. And I hit a pothole. And my handlebars turned sideways because I wasn't holding on to them. And I wasn't wearing a helmet, of course. And so I went face first over. And in order to not smash my face on the ground, I put my arm up. And I smashed this elbow. I broke my elbow. She's a little curvy. I broke my elbow because I went elbow first into the ground. But the funny thing is the adrenaline kicked in. And so I had a big gouge down the back of my leg from the pedal. And so when I got up, I was also embarrassed because there's a couple people walking on the sidewalk and they saw me eat crud. And so I was embarrassed. So I quickly got up and I just kept biking to the tennis club, went into the locker room, and my leg was pouring blood. Hi, Lily. My leg was pouring blood. And so I was worried about my leg. So I bandaged my leg up, told my buddy, yo, I can't play tennis. Like, I just ate crap on my bike. So I went back to my house. It wasn't for like 3 hours until my arm started locking up. Like, my arm started swelling up and it got stuck kind of in a position like this. Like, it was just fully locked up. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I know I didn't break it because I was using it for the last 2 hours. And so it's just swollen. I'll wait till the swelling goes down. So I went to work for 2 days like that, same as you. I went to work for 2 days, and it was on the 3rd day that I was like, okay, I still can't use my arm. Went to the hospital and found out I broke my elbow. Thankfully, they didn't have to reset it. It was in an okay position. They just had to cast it. But yeah, stubborn men, I tells you. And Funny and Insightful says, clever work, Dixon, but this is a family-friendly channel, buddy. I missed what Dixon said, but yes. Paul says, funny, I broke my radio football games, my radio? Football game senior year, okay, right elbow, not radio. I broke my right elbow on a football game in senior year, last game of the year, playoff back in 2006. Yeah, you know what? When I broke my elbow, I used to play a lot of backyard football with my boys, and it was like 3 years before it stopped hurting when I'd throw a football. And so I just remember one day, like I'd throw the football with the buddies. Before, like I said, I used to work out 5 days a week. And so one of the warm-ups before we'd work out, me and the guys would go play football. And so I remember I'd throw it like 6, 7 times and my elbow would start swelling up and get sore and I'd have to stop it. I just remember one day, it's probably like the dozenth time I've thrown the pigskin and my arm didn't hurt. And the realization happened. I was like, wait a second, it doesn't hurt. And it never hurt from then on. It took like 3 years and then it never hurt from then on. Paul says, it's crazy because last time I also talked about your discs and I told you about my disc and having degenerative disc disease, and it was caused by wear and tear from being a police officer. Paul, we basically have the same broken body, my friend. And Funny and Insightful says, yeah, an eye patch, a peg leg, and every other sentence. I am so missing stuff. Drunken said, have you ever thought about wearing an eye patch? Okay. You know what? It wasn't an eye patch, but I had 2 dark sunglasses for a while. I had laser eye surgery a few years back to correct my vision. And Matthew says 6, 7. But I've never had to wear an eye patch. Funny and Insightful says, real question number 3, what's mission 2026? What's my mission for 2026 or what's Donald Trump's mission for 2026? I keep hearing things about 2025 or 2026 or whatever it is. If you're asking about my mission for 2026, 2026 is going to be the year to get back in shape. I'm going to treat this physiotherapy really seriously. I'm going to go to the gym again every other day. I want to get right yoked again, right fit, get as fit as I was back in university, so that I can take care of this homestead and play with my kids and be in good shape. That is the goal. That is the goal. Get my body back in good health. That is the goal for 2026. And Paul says, yep, I didn't have full flexibility for 3 years or 5. And Funny and Insightful says, where do you get time to go to the gym, brother? Don't you also have a day job? Yeah, so I started before my back blew out when I was trying to stay ahead of it. I started making time during the middle of the day. So I would for the last 8 years of working, I've never really taken lunch breaks. And so I decided, you know what? We're going to start taking lunch breaks. There's a gym close to my office. And so I started taking an hour and a half a day, going to the gym during the middle of the day. So I'd go in early to work, take off for lunch, work out, drink a protein shake, come back to work. So that is the goal. I want to keep doing that. And yeah, that's the goal. Just, I don't like sacrificing time early in the morning or late in the day because that's the only time I get with my kids. So it's just, crunch down during work hours and actually treat myself to a lunch break. Paul says, too freaking crazy, though, that 2 different lives across the world, different but the same, but different. Drunken Donut says, personally, I would get into playing blackjack or roulette. Omar says, hi. I'm lucky there's no casinos around here because I low-key have a gambling addiction. Whenever I do go to a casino, I'm usually at the ATM more than I'd like to admit. Happy says, laser is going to give you opposite eyesight of natural original sight. I've never needed glasses to read. You will after LASIK. I had glasses pretty well my whole life. And then I got LASIK eye surgery, and I think that was about 5 years ago, and I still have like 21/20 vision, 25/20 vision, somewhere in there. Better than perfect vision. And Funny and Insightful says, real question number 4, education plans for the little ones. So we homeschool them. The kids are homeschooled, and we plan to continue homeschooling them. Probably all through high school. Again, we live in the middle of nowhere, so to get them to school, which is an hour away every day, it's a little excessive. I plan to homeschool them, and then I'd like to push them towards the trades. It's hard to say. So I used to be a civil engineer. My wife was a nurse. Nursing is still going to be valuable in the AI future. Engineering, not as much. I really think that give it another 5 years, and my education will be mostly obsolete. It's good to have a good understanding and a good use of your brain to troubleshoot and plan and solve things. But all of the math that I can do, ChatGPT can already do better. And it's just a matter of time until that gets better and better and better. And you're just going to send your floor plan into a dedicated AI, and it's going to engineer all the walls and the studs. It's going to match it to your local building code. So a lot of those kind of jobs, I think, medical doctor, you're going to need physical doctors, but a lot of the research side and a lot of the knowledge side is going to get covered by AI. Unless you are leading the pack in clinical research, training the AI, anything that's already been trained, AI is going to be fantastic. So I'm leaning towards the trades. People will always need houses. We're always going to need plumbing. We're always going to need electricity. Whether that changes or not, we still need to figure that out. So I lean towards pushing my kids towards the trades. Drunken says, interesting question. Do you think isolation is good for children, or is it better to have them around their peers to solve issues and create bonds? Definitely friendship's important. So my wife spends a lot of time driving to town and back, and we have friends come here all the time. We're about an hour away from the closest town. So thankfully, we've got lots of friends who are also in the outskirts. So yeah, we definitely try to socialize the kids lots. I think it's very important. I also have 5 sons, so it's not like my kids are ever alone. Today, we spent a good 3 hours jumping on the trampoline, listening to Skibbity Toilet, and just having a good time. And they were all playing together, really nice. So yeah, definitely though, relationships are important. That way you don't breed sociopaths. It's good to have human relationships. Funny and Insightful says, oh yeah, I agree with the AI stuff. I'm in corporate finance, and I know for a fact that my job will no longer exist 8 to 10 years. It's going to be like that for a lot of things. I mean, you're going to have business owners like myself who do pride employing real people. And even though a lot of people could be subsidized by AI due to redundancy, I like to know that I'm supporting my local community. But that corporate greed and that corporate cog, it's going to be a real trouble. And Paul says, was a cop. My body is not working like it used to, only 37, and have too many issues that came up. So y'all got to check by your doctor ASAP. And Sula says, are you out in the desert? No, there's actually a lake back there. The ground here is because I have a gravel driveway, but that's grass and that's a lake in behind. It's just really dark. We're in northern Canada, far away from any deserts. Walter says, there's power in the name of Jesus, and no ego, sending stars to the chat. Funny says, you're getting the drift, Duncan. Thanks for understanding. Happy says, Walter, yes, amen. Jesus Christ is Lord. Joshin says, have you ever heard of trail life? No, I don't know what trail life is. Happy Pap says, homeschool is better option these days. One of the things, we were initially talking about putting homeschooling our kids through elementary and then putting them in high school, because in high school we were thinking about the extracurriculars. But even in the small towns we live in, the drug use in high schools, the bullying, the partying, and all, it's like, I don't know if I want to put my kids through that if I don't have to. I used to be a civil engineer. My wife was a nurse. And so it's not like we can't teach them the higher sciences adequately. Like, we have a very good education in our background. So, and we use a curriculum. It's not like we're teaching them off the dome. I do use a lot of life lessons for teaching them. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't see the value in the risk of what goes on in high school nowadays. You got youth suicides and drug use and all this. I don't think the risk outweighs the benefit, if that makes sense. Drunken says, is that a 10-gallon hat? I'd probably put it closer to a 1-gallon hat. And Matthew says, 6 degrees of separation, Paul. Everyone is connected by 6 or less degrees of separation. I need to see that movie. I've never actually seen the movie. What's the movie called? I don't think it's called 6 degrees of separation. Is it 6? There's a movie about this that's apparently fantastic. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm keeping up with everyone. And Funny and Insightful says, Justin, in 10 years, I hope I can build a 1-room cabin somewhere on your property where myself and my wife can stay and we can both work for you for food. No other room in remuneration needed. I know that's a real word that I don't know how to say. No compensation needed. Well, my goal on the property is in about 3 to 5 years to build a second house on this property. Then I'd like to build a bunkie by the lake. I like the fact that we have the land because land is getting harder and harder to come by. Eventually, I would like to turn this property into more of a commercial farm instead of a homestead. But for now, we've just got it as a homestead. Sula says, oh, you're Canadian. That's why the accent is so nice. Well, thank you for saying I have a nice accent. Paul says, I'm y'all's example of putting doctor's visits off, but luckily I'm catching it now, even though the issues are not reversible, but I have to learn to cope with them and deal with them. I hear you, Paul. It is too easy to sacrifice our bodies, and as men, we tend to be a little more stubborn and not get checked as often. Up here in Canada, one of the problems is we have social health care, and the reason I call that a problem is before my back blew out, I had already made an appointment with my family doctor I wanted to get it looked at. I've had MRIs on it before. I've had it looked at before. But like I said, the last year, my back was getting worse and worse. Creepy pig, how you doing? And so my back was getting worse and worse. Sula says, have you ever visited Ireland? My parents actually just came back from Ireland. They were just down there. I haven't been myself. But my parents said it was lovely. And so my back... I had booked an appointment with my family doctor because I wanted to get an update. Last time I had seen him, he basically just told me take painkillers, and I said, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And so I hadn't really done much about it, but I wanted to follow up because it had been getting worse and worse. The problem with the social health care in Canada, the appointment was booked 3 months out to see my family doctor. And so in between, before I could see him, my back ended up rupturing and fast forward to spinal surgery, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems with social health care is that it's really hard to actually get in and see a doctor before things become a real problem. I've had good experiences with our healthcare system as far as the actual treatments go, but it kind of also makes you not want to go knowing that it's like, my shoulder's really buggered out today. I think I tore something, but it's going to take 3 months to go see a doctor. By then it's going to be healed. There's no point. And then you end up with longer issues. Funny and Insightful says, I have a feeling if you put out user-friendly educational material to start and maintain a farm, it will go viral with ticketed opportunities for people of all ages to work on the farm for a day. And that's my plan too. Going back to my home country when the job is no longer there, but at least 20 to 30 acres, and I'm thinking to start a farm. I'm coming from a family of farmers, so that helps. Yeah, we started doing this without any real experience. Both of our families, they're traditional city living. We never grew up on farms. It was all new to us, but the passion was there, the desire was there, and there's no shortage of learning resources out there. We'll definitely put out more content towards this. We've got a few videos like how to milk a goat and stuff like that, but we'll definitely put out more educational content to help other people also live this lifestyle. We've been doing this now a full 2 years, and this 2 years is a lot of learning. And I didn't want to jump to putting a bunch of how-to content out there until I knew my stuff and I was confident in the advice I was giving. Too many people will give you advice that is untested, untried, and simply wrong. And so I definitely didn't want to put myself in that situation. So yeah, I mean, I feel like 2 years is a good starting point to start to share what has worked and what hasn't worked. There's definitely been a lot of successes. There's been some failures, but we are figuring it out just like anyone else. One of my biggest things of advice would be, don't let yourself get discouraged by your failures. There is always going to be something that goes wrong on a homestead or a farm. For example, my closest neighbors have been family generational farmers for 50, 60 years. And they will, we had to give them, we gave them 2 ducks this year because their ducks got taken out by their friend's dog. Last year, they got taken out by the foxes. Every once in a while, they'll lose a cow to, say, the wolves or coyotes or just a bad birth. I mean, these things happen. I know another farmer, been doing it for a decade, and their bull was mounting one of their cows, and she kind of bucked him off a little bit, and he broke his back, and they lost their bull. even if you've been doing this for a long time, tragedy happens, mistakes happen. Don't get hung up on your failures. Really focus on your successes. Weston, how you doing? Maria Backcountry says, I had to leave for a bit to make dinner, but you are still here. We have been streaming for an hour and a half. Paul says, sitting here with my insurance, you have to go see your primary care before you even go to a specialist, and your doctor has to give you a referral to see a specialist because just to go on your own. Same here, Paul, same here. Except it's really hard to get a family doctor. Up here in Canada, yeah, if you want to see a spinal surgeon, you have to go to your family doctor, then your family doctor will book you in. Or you could be like me and your back can blow out and you can go see an emergency surgeon who will then jump you right up that list. So kudos to having a serious injury. And Happy says, 2 years? You seem way far more seasoned as a farmer. Thank you. It's only been 2 years that we've been doing this, but I mean, when you're doing it and living it every single day and you're putting your heart and soul into it, you learn a lot fast and you grow into it really quickly. Lily, where are you, Lil? Come here, Lil. Weston wants to say hi. Lily. Come here, Lil. Come here. Come here. Come. Come here. Right here. And sit, Lily. Lily, no, I'm not pointing out any mice. Sit. Sit. She's like, what'd you find? What'd you find? What are we hunting? Come here. Sit. Nope. She's on the hunt. She's on the hunt. She thinks I called her over because there's something for her to get. She's been on mouse duty. She caught a mouse early today and she's stoked. Hi, Lily. Lily, sit. Lily, sit. Sit. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Lily. Well, guys, I think this is a good spot to leave you guys. It's been an hour and a half, and I think it's time to end the stream. Lily wants to say goodbye, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for having a good conversation, and we will chat again. Like I said, guys, Happy says I subscribe. Thank you, Happy. Like I said, next weekend, throughout the week, I'm sure I will be live streaming again. I normally do stream 3 to 5 times a week, but next weekend, I'm going to be home alone. And so one of my rules is I don't like to live stream when the wife and kids are home and awake. This past week, I didn't get to live stream as much as normal because my wife was going into town lots and leaving the kids with me for the evenings. But this coming weekend, they're going to be out of town for Canadian Thanksgiving. So I plan to stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So next weekend, we will definitely have a back-to-back marathon streaming session, as well as hopefully throughout the week. I look forward to seeing you guys next live stream. But for now, we're going to end this, wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. Freshly Wild's in the chat. Have yourselves a great night, and we will